So hello everyone, welcome to this another video of this channel. I am Abhishek Verma and you are watching Spring Basics with Spring Boot series. In today's video, we are going to learn about YAML, Y-A-M-L. Some people say YAML means yet another markup language and others says that it means YAML ain't markup language. But the point of discussion is not about the name. The point of discussion is why we should go for the YAML files and how we can make usage of the YAML files. So in the last video, if you have seen, we were using profiles. So for every profile, we were creating one property file. That means if we are having 10 profiles, then we will be having 11 property files. So many property files are here. Yeah, and you heard it right. 11 property files for the 10 profiles because one is going to be your common property file. So YAML is actually going to resolve that particular issue. Now how it is going to resolve that issue, that we will directly see with the help of the code. So without wasting any more time, let's directly get started with the code. And
so now we are in the IDE, and as you can see that I have already opened demo 13. So this demo I have copied from the previous demo of our profiles. So first of all, as always, let me execute this demo as it is so that we can verify that everything is working fine before making any of the changes. So I'll go here and execute this. So it is getting started. Till then, let me check which profile is currently active. So as you can see, as per this, currently local profile is active. So let's go here. So as you can see here, it is showing that local profile is active. So this is working fine. Also here it says that for service IMPL, it's a normal bean. For the repository IMPL, is the mock bean. Because if you remember last time, for the repository, we made one more class and there we were not throwing any kind of exception, even if the ID is odd. So this is working fine as of now. So yeah, this is as of how, and let's just stop it. Now let me just refresh it. So on refreshing, you see that logs are getting generated here and it is within the local folder demo.log. Now let me just quickly change it to prod once just to verify again. So here, let me do this execution again. So this time, yeah. So you see that now it is showing that profile is prod and here it's a normal bean. And now if I give ID as 11, so it is giving me the error or the exception. So again, this is working fine. Let me just refresh it. And here you see that now I'm getting for the prod. Since I have not deleted the local folder, that's why it is still appearing. Otherwise, once if you will just simply start it with the prod, then you won't see the local here. Yeah, so that's the reason, and accordingly logs will come into these folders. So everything is working fine. Let me delete these logs folder also as of now, and let me clear this console. So this is the part, guys, and for today we don't need to make any change in the Java classes, so only the changes will be in the properties file. So you see that currently the problem is that since we are having multiple profiles, so we are having multiple property files, and the number of property files, the application property files, is going to be number of profiles plus 1. Because for every profile, first of all, you need one property file. Let's say local, prod, dev, UAT, QA, and whatever it is. So that is required, plus one extra application.properties file is required. So these are the points here. Now, another interesting part, if you see, let's say that I want similar kind of stuff for the prod as well as dev. Then also I need to make two different files, something like this. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. And let's say that in dev also, I want the same properties. So then also I need to create one more file here. Yeah, that is the problem here. So as of now, we won't create something like this and let it be as it is. Let me just refresh. Yeah, this is still fine. Okay, so what we will see is that what is YAML and how YAML is going to solve this problem. Now, what is the problem? Problem is that with the increasing number of profiles, we are creating too many property files. Yeah, so the number of files in total are increasing. So let's check it out. So for this, first of all, what we will do is we will go to this local. Yeah, and for local, we will convert it to the YAML file. Now how we are going to do this is that for every dot. So this is a simple rule, guys. First of all, we will do it manually, then I will show you a shortcut also here. So in order to convert it to YAML, you need to replace this dot with a semicolon. Also, you need to replace this dot with a semicolon, and then this one where it is your actual equal to symbol, there you need to replace it with a colon and space. So this is how you need to first of all separate it. Now you see it is showing you some this kind of thing because property file is unaware of this. Now what we are going to do is here after the colon we will say enter, and then we will give two spaces, 1, 2. Then again here we will go and we will say enter, and again we will say 1, 2. So this is how your YAML file is going to look like. You will say that okay, still it is properties file only. The point is that you need to refactor it and rename it to as YAML. So now this is no more your properties file. Instead it is YAML, that is YAML file. So when we speak the name, then it is YAML. But when we are writing it, then the extension is YML, not YAML. So this is something which you need to remember. So now my structure looks something like this. I hope that is pretty much clear. Replace your dot with a colon and equal to symbol with your colon space, and then after colon give an enter and then give two spaces. So this is how it is going to look like. Now let's do a same thing for the prod. Now for this properties file, if we try to do the same thing, then you see it is going to be little bit difficult for us to do, because we need to replace all these dot with a colon, then this thing again with a colon and space. So the point is, when you are taking help of this Spring tool suite, then there is a shortcut. Whenever you will hover over to your properties file and make a right click, it will show you something like this: convert properties to YAML. Now see it very carefully. Here it is saying YAML. So you don't need to get confused that okay, I want file as YML, but it will give me .YAML. That is not going to be the case. Still just click on it and it will give you YML only. So let's click on it, and here it is going to show you that what are the changes. So let me make it large screen, and now you see what it will do is, first of all, for every dot it will replace it with a colon. So logging colon, then file colon path colon and something like this. Then file and path it will bring in the next line here, and this is going to look something like this. So your first line will be converted to this particular part. So this is the equivalent. Now for the second one, you see it is saying logging dot logback dot ruling policy dot file name pattern. So four things are there, but when it is going to convert, it will see that logging is already available here. So since logging is already available here, it is not going to repeat it, and that is one of the magic of YAML. So it won't repeat it, and directly under this only, see this way it is going to understand the hierarchy. So with the help of this gray color, I hope you can understand the hierarchy. So this file and logback both will come after logging directly. So logging dot logback dot ruling policy dot file name pattern, and this way it is going to look like. Then coming on to the next part, the last line, that is logging dot logback dot ruling policy dot max file size. Here you see again the logback is coming after the logging, but logback was already available to us. So even this thing is not going to be repeated. Then ruling policy was also available here, so that also won't be repeated. And the only thing which will come again is max file size. So only this max file size is coming, and rest everything will be used only once. Logging dot logback dot ruling policy dot max file size, and value is 10 MB here. So this is how it is going to look like, and you can just simply say OK here. So it is going to do this conversion for you. You don't need to do it again and again manually here, and that's the magic here, guys. Yeah. Now, so okay, this is already saved, and again this one is looking fine to us. So one of the best part is that whenever you are making usage of YAML, it is going to provide you something like a hierarchy, and automatically it will take care that everything is in the alphabetical order only. So this one is coming first because F comes before M. That's the only reason. Here file is coming first before logback because F comes before L. Yeah. Now let's do it same for the application.properties. So here also, if you go by the hierarchy, what I'll do, what I request you is, as of now, just pause the video, take a pen and a paper if possible and try to create the YAML file for this on your own. Maybe you, if you wish, you can create in your mind, or if you wish, you can create it on a pen or a paper. Yeah, so that you can try out here. So you see that we are repeating this spring and spring again. So let's see what it is going to do here. So let me again go here and say convert properties to YAML. So this time what it is going to do, first of all, it is showing you logging. Now why it is showing you this? Because L comes before S. So alphabetically this will come first, logging.file.name and this one. Then it will say spring. So this spring will come. Now after spring there are two options, application and profile. So this application is coming, application name, and then this profiles active is coming, and that is prod. So this is how again this is going to look like. Now it may be little odd to look because you see that here we are providing the variable value later on and we are using it first. Okay, but whenever it is going to be executed, it will understand automatically that okay, here this spring.application.name is going to be something like this. Also, if you hover over on the last part of it, it will show you the complete value, that is spring.application.name. Similarly here also, if you hover over the last thing or anything like file name pattern, so it will show you the complete part of the property. Here also, like for max file size, it will show you the complete name of the property. So all these things it is going to provide you like this. So we have created YAML for all these, and as of now let's quickly execute. So let me just refresh it and execute. And for this, you see, I don't need to make any kind of change in the pom.xml or any other code or anything. Automatically this is going to be used. So you see, now also here it says the active profile is prod, and here also it is picking the right thing only. So if I will say 11, so it will give me the error, and here if I refresh, so in the logs it will show me for the prod. So that is how it is going to work. Let me delete this logs folder quickly. So I have deleted it, and let me see here this local, so something like this. Let me just save it, let me execute it again, and now if you see, so here it says now it is local profile, this time it is mock mean. Again if I say 11, now there is no exception. So that means this is working fine for us. Yeah. So if you wish, you can go for the properties file, or if you wish, you can go for the YAML file like this. The benefit of YAML is this hierarchy structure. Yeah? And that is not only the case, guys. I told you that our main problem here is that for every profile, we need one file plus a common file is required. So you will say that, okay, Abhishek, that is still the same case. For every profile, you are writing a YAML file, and then you need a common YAML file also. Yeah. So yeah, that is the point. But now I'm going to do the magic. What I'll do is whatever is available in this local, so I'll copy this and I'll put it here after this one, something like this. Yeah. Now you see it is showing me the error logging and logging. Why? Because it says that, okay, why you are repeating? Why don't you use it under this only? Okay. But I don't want to use it there. What I want to tell is that, okay, this one is actually not equivalent or part of this file. It's a part of separate file. So here I'll give a separator. So something like this. I'll remove all the space and I'll say hyphen, hyphen, hyphen. So these three hyphens will act as your separator. So you can't give two hyphens, you can't give four hyphens, you need to give exactly three hyphens, and then the error will be removed. So now the meaning of these three hyphens is that this is a separate file. So this particular one is a separate file and this is a separate file, and you don't need this local anymore. So if you wish, you can delete it. So I have deleted it here. Same way, let's copy this whole prod and let me paste it here after this. So again, it says that, okay, this is same only, why you are using like this, okay, something like this. But I want to say that again, this is a separate file. So I'll come here, I'll remove the space, and here I will say hyphen, hyphen, hyphen. So now this becomes my again third file, and I don't need this prod YAML. So I'll remove this one also. So this is how it is going to look like. So now you see this is your common application.yml, the actual one. This is your the part from the application hyphen local, and this is the part from your application hyphen prod YAML. Yeah. So this is how it is going to look like. Now here everything is fine. The only problem is that as of now I remember, because I made it from the properties file and something like this. So I remember that okay, this is local, this is prod, but how it will understand that this it needs to activate whenever it is a local profile, and this part needs to be activated whenever it's a prod profile. Last time, if you remember, we were having separate file names. So within the file name only it was mentioned -local -prod. So it was easy to understand that for local you need to activate this, for prod you need to activate this. But now how we will say that this is part of local, this is part of prod. So for this, here we will add one more property, and that is going to be spring dot. So whenever you are giving any new property, so you can start with this dot only. Automatically, the moment you will save it, it will configure or it will convert it to the colon. So I will say spring dot config, and then I will say activate. So here I will say activate, and then you say dot on, and here I will say profile. So spring.config.activate on profile. So this can take a string array or maybe something like a list kind of thing. So this I will give it. And you see the moment I gave enter, it automatically kept it in this colon format, something like this. Yeah. So here I can say local here like this. And same thing again I will do here, and let me write it once. If you wish we can copy also. So I will say spring.config. And then we will say activate and on profile. So something like this. So here I will say prod. So this is going to be the case. So earlier you were taking it with the help of the file name. Now you need to write it like this. Now you will say that okay Abhishek, everywhere what you are doing is that after colon you are just giving a space and then you are giving the value of the property. But here you are using this hyphen. So is it mandatory to use hyphen only for this, or can we just write it in same way? The answer is yes. So what you can do is you can just do it in this way. So after colon you can just give it as local, and this will work. Now then what is the meaning of this prod here? The meaning of prod is because if you see this particular property can actually have the value as an array or can be a kind of a list. So now if the requirement is that for the prod profile and let's say for the dev profile you want same values, then you can write it like this. So now this particular part will be activated for the prod profile also as well as dev profile also. So this actual hyphen, this kind of thing will be used for the list, and that's why we say YAML is even much more better. Because here let's say for any property you want value in the format of a array or list or something like this, then you can write it much more easily and it's readable also. So it's your choice. As of now we don't need dev, so we will just use it something like this without any hyphen. So this is how it is going to look like. Now it is very clear that the first part is going to be always your common part. Then after every these separators, so after every 3 separators, it can be your different property file, or you can say different YAML file, and which is going to be, so you need to say spring config activate on profile, something like this. Again, this is your choice. You can have any number of profiles. At the end you don't need to give anything, but as a good practice you can just give some kind of space. So an empty line is always better. That's why you see whenever even I write a properties file or something, at the end I always keep a empty line so that it is readable also to me. Because now if I just scroll down, so you see now I may feel that okay, what if there is something after this, but if I give an empty statement here or empty line here, now it is readable that after this there is nothing. Yeah, that's the only reason. Now let me just execute it again, and before this let me clear all these logs and everything. So now if I execute, so you see it is demo number 13. So I'm doing it like this, and yeah, you see now also it is working fine. It is starting with the local profile, and here also it says mock main created. Here I give id as 11. This is working fine. Yeah, so this is the one. Here if I refresh, so something like this, you see that these logs got created under the local folder and everything is getting saved. We are able to find it. Same way let's test it for the other one also. So let me delete, otherwise you say that okay Abhishek, you are never deleting the things. So let me write it here as prod, and let's execute it again here this time. So on executing, you see that this time the prod profile got active and here it says that this bean got created, something like this. And now if I say 11, so believe me, it is going to give you the exception here. And here even if I refresh, so here it will say prod, and here it is going to show you the log. So this is how it is going to work here, guys. So let me clear it again, and let me clear this particular one also. So that is how the things are going to look like. Now you will say that, okay, Abhishek, this is fine, but that means that again and again we need to change this file, because we need to change here that which particular profile needs to be made active, local or prod or dev or UAT or QA or whatever it is. So I hope that you remember from our previous one, that in the previous video I shown you that if you don't want to make multiple or every time change here, what you can do is that as a good practice, here you just say local. So here just write it as local, and then after creating a jar file, so there you give the property as ---- spring.profiles.active, and there you say prod, so that it is going to override here. I'm not going to show you again that part here. If you wish, you can see in the previous video for demo number 12. But instead of it, before you leave this video, I will show you one more interesting thing. Okay, and that is actually a kind of a question which should come in your mind after this. And the question is, what if there exists application.yml, but till now we always used to have application.properties. So here we just simply converted properties to YAML. But what if there exists both these files? So let's make something like this. So we will create a file and say application.properties. So here we will say properties. Now what will happen? Will it pick application.properties or will it pick application.yml? Let's have a look. So for this, what I will do is I will write this same property again, spring.application.name. So this one I will write here, spring.application.name, and here I will give it as test. So here you see I'm writing it as demo. Here I'm giving it as test. Now you tell me which one will be used. Will it say test or will it write it as demo? And how we can prove is that, whenever it gets executed, the name appears there. If you have not seen, I hope then that is your mistake. Okay, so you can rewind the video and you see that in the logs always this demo name appears. Now what do you think? What will come? Will it give preference to YAML or properties file? Just pause the video and think once. You should be getting the answer correctly, because when I actually started you with this video number 11, that is demo 11, there I have told you that whenever there is same property mentioned in multiple files, then what is going to be the sequence, how it reads. So let's check it out. So let's execute this 13 again, and now you see that it is saying you test here, which means that always whenever you are going to start your code, by default it is going to look for the application.properties file. If it is there, it will be given the preference, and from here it is picking the value and it is showing you this test name here. After this, since there is no other property in this one, then the second preference will be given to the YAML file, application.yml. Now here in the YAML, since you are having other things, like here you have mentioned that now the local profile needs to be given active. So here it is starting with the local profile. So this way the things are going to work. For every property, first preference to application.properties. If it is not available, then application.yml. If there also it is not available, then any other properties file like messages.properties. Yeah. Now you will say that, okay, Abhishek, this is one. But what if here we are saying that in this YAML we have made active profile as local, and here we are giving something different. So let's say spring dot, and what was the name of this? So spring.profiles.active. So let's write it here, spring.profiles.active, the first one, and here let's say prod. Now what do you say? Which profile will be activated? Will it activate prod or will it activate local here? Remember that you don't have anything like application-prod properties or application-local properties. So what will it do? So again think, the answer is going to be very simple. What it will do is it will start from here, then it will see that, okay, the spring.profiles active is prod. So then this profile is active. Now do we have that particular file application-prod and something? The answer is no. then it will come here and then it will start using these files, local and everything. So depending on that, it will be using. So again, now if I execute, so this time it will be using with this prod profile. So that is how the things are going to work, guys. Yeah. So I hope that was simple, but this I have just shown you for the like knowledge. Yeah. Otherwise, whenever you are creating a code, don't do something like this, that you are using the properties file also, you are using YAML file also. Depending on your requirement, either go for the properties file or go for the YAML file. Otherwise, I mean, what's the benefit of writing a confusing code? Whenever we are learning, the goal is that we try all the alternatives, so that whenever if someone will ask us, we know what needs to be done. But whenever we are writing in the actual code, we should always write the correct thing only. Still, if any other thing or anything comes up in your mind, the rules are very simple. What I always do is, first of all, you download my code from the Git, execute the code as it is. Then if you feel, what if I change this name, or what if I do something here, or what if I make some change here, then you try to understand what happens by changing that particular thing. And that's the way whenever you are learning something, guys. Okay, not only for this Spring Boot, but everywhere I say the same logic. Whenever you are learning something new, first of all, whatever the instructor or whatever the documentation says, always follow the same. Once you are clear with the basic concept, then you start making your own changes. Yeah? So I hope now this is clear to you, and hope to see you in the next video, guys. And if you find it useful, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks everyone. Bye.